so that all hope ain't lost. But trust me when I tell you, homeboy, what's the girl name that came in her house and shot her?
I forgot her name, Dan. In Louisville.
Yeah.
I forgot her name.
And the boyfriend. You're talking about the...
Brianna Taylor.
You're talking about the boyfriend, too. They shot both of them.
They came in the house. Homie, when you go to court, ain't no rights. Sometimes they have mercy and they let you ride. Ain't no rights, you idiot. I'm smart enough to know I can't tell some of y'all that. You would think something wrong with me. But I'm telling you, homie, when you get a case put on you, especially if it's the government after you, you don't have no rights. They let some of us ride so that all hope ain't lost. Be careful on what's going on. An exit strategy is something that's going to become more and more prevalent in this nation. All you people who really think that, hey, this nation is mine, and what you will see. So laugh now, because the messages always get told they crazy in the beginning. The real messages. I'll tell you, man, we are in trouble. Our kids have no rights in this nation. Read about your marriage license. What rights your kids have in this nation. The marriage license you and your girl signed for. Y'all have no rights over your kids. Your kids can be taken out the house. And if your kids can be taken out the house, what rights do you have? You don't even understand what's going on. And I really pray for you because you think something wrong with me. I'm aware of what's happening. And I thank God every day that I'm able to maneuver around this motherfucker and get back to some type of peace and solace for as long as he's let me do it, because we are losing people in their 50s and 60s to heart attacks and it can't be explained. We already know what happened with the diabetes deaths and stuff like that, but people are straight up dropping. They are on some population control with you guppies who think you're smart. Look at Corey, he's stupid. RZA, agent. Shut the fuck up. Y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. You a guppy. Now swim in the little bowl until they throw you down the toilet.
So they keep saying, or the same person keeps saying, Corey, you're not immune. Oh,
I'm not immune.
That's what he's saying.
Did I say I'm immune?
No, I'm saying that's what you are saying. It's like, hello, nobody's exempt.
I ain't mad at you though. The average mind has to justify its existence. They don't want to admit their average mind. They have to justify it by challenging you and make it seem like something wrong with you. I get that too.
Yeah.
So, validation.
What is it called?
Validation. They need validation. Yeah. But if what you're saying is truth, you know.
Somebody say no. Aaron say no. Gee, folks having heart attacks in 40s.
Yeah,
more than they ever did in the history of this nation.
Plus homeboys died in his sleep 3 weeks ago.
We lost a comedian in New York, Ray DeJean. He was one of the guys who always had work for you when you come to town. You'd be like, call Ray DeJean and see what he got. He always got rooms. So he will be missed because he was one who was a comedian who had work. You don't know Ray DeJean from some famous this, some famous that, but I tell you what, when you go to New York, that's one of the guys you look for. Man, what's up? What y'all got have? Y'all got some work? Oh yeah, I got the room here, I got the room there. Rest in peace, Ray DeJean, man. Man, look, man. Maybe it's the youngsters in there talking crazy, I don't know. But I'm telling you, man, y'all just walking down the street. When I'm walking in a,
They fear too, though.
when I walk in a Kentucky KF, you dig, see? I see the lab work in the back. It's almost like they cloned Tyrone. I'm like, oh, this is about my people. What else you got, D?
I know it's late. Okay.
The video went out.
I did.
They say, check out the movie Died Suddenly.
This river wasn't dammed in a day, and these trucks were built overnight. Like every American achievement, they are a result of dedication. A dedication to that.
That might be something worth watching. Ooh, Geo Black. You might check that out. I might look it up tonight. Anyway, what else you really need?
Yeah.
What's up? We gonna do tonight? We got a 5150 show. We getting ready to get our beat together and come back with our song. Give me 5 minutes for those who hang in. How many we got? How many? We got up to 12 tonight? Anyway, y'all know what's up. We'll be right back. 5150 you dig? World has an abundance of resources. If you have faith, you can go anywhere and find your way. Ain't no doubt. Everybody out there who believes in the true God understands what I'm saying. I ain't scared of nothing. God has put people out here to save me from all situations. The obese single mom will always provide shelter for me. The obese single mom will always provide shelter for me. When the Lord don't come through, they will feed you their children's food. Single mom will always provide shelter for me. I was down on my luck when I first made that move to LA. But one thing that where's her colleagues? Where's your doctor at? Because I've done the research. If somebody is a doctor, they will be proud to show you. I'm a doctor.
Riva TV. What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I'm back again with another video. And another person is calling out the hypocrisy of Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Okay, we've seen Corey Holcomb do it constantly with the whole I'm a doctor thing.
When somebody say Dr. Bryant, it irks me. Where's her colleagues? Where's she a doctor at? Because I've done the research. If somebody is a doctor, they will be proud to show you. I'm a doctor.
And now we have Paul Pierce, who has decided to do the same exact thing, because as she is known of being a relationship coach, a dating coach, or whatever the case, the fact that she has, come to the surface based off of her telling Cam Newton about his wrongdoings with his whole family structure, that's completely unfair and it's selfish.
Just tell me what I saw.
Yeah, almost. That's completely unfair and that's selfish. And so, yes, you're taking your time in this.
If you're looking for a business loan, an SBA loan is one of your best options. Why is that? To start with, the Small Business Administration, or SBA, partially backs these loans to reduce the risk that lenders take on when issuing a loan. That's good for lenders because it means they have some protection if the loan doesn't get repaid. And it's good for you because it means you can qualify for better rates and longer terms that are easier to pay back than if you were to get the same amount in a standard term loan. And that's better for everyone because it means more small businesses get access to the capital they need, leading to a healthier local economy. Because repayment terms are usually longer, many small businesses use SBA loans for things like acquiring real estate or another business, purchasing supplies or remodeling office space, refinancing existing business debt, or tons of other short and long-term business capital needs. So what's the catch? If you're looking for an SBA loan, you'll have to supply a little more information than most other loan applications. You'll need to show your time in business, your monthly revenue, and submit some other documentation like a debt schedule, a profit and loss statement, and the previous year's tax statement. Usually, SBA loans take longer to fund than other
department, but you're not taking your time in this department, which means you're compartmentalizing. And compartmentalizing never works. Compartmentalizing hurts everybody involved.
Based off of her constant conversations about, the likes of Neo and what he's doing wrong, and how he can't keep a family together.
You wanted to be married but didn't have the discipline to do it, and your wife left you because she didn't tolerate that.
Maybe.
And so she pivoted from you, and now you're going and he's making these other women pay for the heartbreak that he caused to himself by saying I want to be polyamorous.
It has caused obviously a lot of conversation in which he wants to get to the bottom of. So I'm gonna go ahead and press play from their interview that they had on his platform, press pause and play, and then just give you guys my feelings and my opinions on this entire situation as we watch this video together.
About you. This is about you. You done flipped the script on us. We over here.
Reverse Uno.
Man, he sure did.
But it was good. It was
no, but like, no, we need to find out about what's going on with her. She dating, single. What do that entail for a 42-year-old?
I'm dating.
Dating, but single.
Enjoying my life. I have really good companions.
How many are you dating right now?
I'm not exclusively committed to anyone, but I have one guy that I have dated off and on for 5 years. We dated for 5 years off and on.
So you was his work for 5 years? You been his work? You still his work?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I know what's going on now.
It's interesting that she did start the conversation off by saying companions with an S, and then she talked about this person that she has dated on and off for 5 years. Now, I do have to say something about that because, there was a point where when Corey Holcomb was calling out Cheyenne Bryant during his interview with Cam Newton, he said that the reason why Cheyenne Bryant would not talk negatively about 50 Cent is because he felt that maybe there's some type of opportunity there.
When you hit her with that 50 Cent and she was stuck, you praised 50 Cent because there's opportunity maybe there for her.
I even went back to the clip myself and looked and saw that she was actually dancing around the same accountability she was trying to use for Cam Newton onto 50 Cent.
You mentioned Curtis Jackson, and I'm like, is he a high value man or a high functioning man? Like, I just want to know.
That's the question?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about where 50 is and what he's doing.
Shortly after that, there ended up being a post where, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant was saying that she was actually looking for a husband and she's ready for a husband.
For babies and a husband. Well, they not. They all the babies. Right. When I have a baby, I need the helmet off. I'll crack it up.
And then in the comment section of that post, somebody put at 50 Cent and she was like, call him out. So basically saying, although she said she didn't want a man who, has children or whatever, she was more than willing to, change that ideology to be with the likes of the 50 Cents if he was so willing.
So, the guy that you were entertaining, you would go as low as 26.
That I would entertain?
Yes.
Okay.
And as high as what age?
Whatever man that doesn't have kids.
So now that she's having this conversation and saying that she's been in an on and off relationship for 5 years and she's so enjoying herself and all that, it just sounds very weird and strange to me because based off of the conversations that she's been having, would you be looking for somebody outside of this companion that you've been on and off with for 5 years if you're so happy with them? That doesn't really add up to me.
It's like the sheep clothing off.
The wolf teeth coming out. No, we have
somebody's work for 5 years.
We have been each other's companion for 5 years, and I have spent the block for 5 years, and it's the truth. And he doesn't like it. He's absolutely correct. He feels like I haven't provided.
Your work.
We working together. We working together.
But you keeping him at bay. What is he keeping you at bay?
He wants a relationship. He wants to be committed.
You just like the sex.
Oh.
Let's keep it.
But if you said that you were ready for a husband before, and you're looking for a husband, you're ready to settle down, and you're ready to have babies, and you're ready to this, and then you have a man who's there, who's good for you, and all these things, and he's wanting you to settle down, and he's wanting you to be committed, but you're on the internet asking for anybody else to come around, but you're happy with his companion. Again, it's not adding up to the conversation that she's had before about her private life. And I'm not trying to call her out. I don't want to call her a liar because obviously I don't know her personally. I don't know anything personally about her, so I'm not going to do that or say that. But sometimes it can come off a little bit like performative, or as if like, because a lot of people are asking like, where's your results, where's your situation, where's your relationship, that now she feels the need to bring this so that it can add credit to or merit to the things that she's saying about other people in their relationships. That's what it comes across as.
Why you keep somebody for 5 years? That's like for real. You can't keep nobody at a distance for 5 years. I ain't never done no shit.
I am not vitamin D deficient, so everything is good in that department. He wants a relationship.
She kept him on the side until she figured out it was something better. I see what she's doing.
He just has some emotional maturity that he had to do. We're 9 years apart. He's 9 years younger than me, and so we both had to work through things, but he's had to work on his emotions and his intense insecurities around being in a relationship.
She's been waiting on it. Like what's the problem? Why not that?
Just because of that, either he's
So
just
you're waiting on that.
no, I'm not waiting on it, and I don't have him waiting.
So the D is good.
But this is okay, so you're not waiting on him to get it together, but you've been with him for 5 years. You're happy with your companion. You're happy in the situation, and it's leading to what Paul Pierce saying being true, that you're waiting for any other possible suitor, but you're using that as a space filler, or if there's any whatever that situation actually really is, again, because I've never, from Cam Newton, she was, looking at the camera, telling them the kind of man that she wanted.
See, now this is when the conversation is good.
Come on. Ben, this is where you turn the TV all the way up. Go ahead.
Late 20s would be the young.
And so this is the first time that there's ever been any mention of this man over, her, 5-year span of being with this person. It's never something that's been talked about. The only thing that she's talked about before was even like on the Breakfast Club, when she talked about the person that she was engaged to before, or the previous relationships that she was in.
I was engaged for 10 years. I can't put it on because I knew that wasn't my person. Great guy.
10 years?
I actually said he was a great guy. He was a great guy. He just wasn't my guy.
10 years, you thought he was a guy. You struggle up to me, why you ain't love to be great with somebody else that appreciate and love you?
Because I've been single 6 years.
But she never made mention of this person that she's talking about presently. And again, I think that sometimes it becomes this pressure that you feel the need to prove your validity and being able to talk about relationships and stuff like that. But in this case, like, somebody who went to school and studied psychology and therapy and stuff like that, like, you don't necessarily actively have to be in a relationship to be able to talk on, things that are going on within yourself or whatever. But when you start to not talk about it from a therapist point of view, and you start talking about it as like, sister girl, I got it all together, that's when people are then going to start calling you out on, what are you made of? And I think that's a situation that she's ultimately got herself into.
Let's keep it. I mean, it's like,
He put on his red pajamas and feel like he's supposed to get spicy tonight.
This is clear.
Oh my God.
She's from Long Beach.
I'm crying.
Don't try to come with a suit jacket.
No, man, shut up. You know what I mean?
She's from Long Beach. I'm ignorant. I can see that.
I'm from San Pedro, a small community in the city of Los Angeles, okay?
So he's saying, like, they're from the same place, and he's like basically trying to tell her, like, I know what kind of girl you are. Like, you can't fool me, is what he's trying to say. Like, you play the game, you playing around, and as much as you're trying to refine the situation and make it sound prettier than it is, from what he's saying, he's like, you're not fooling me. And I haven't seen her necessarily come back to the things that she's saying. So I don't know.
Yes, he has great qualities. He does well in all that he does with me. He just emotionally is.
I asked you about his job and all that.
He does well in all areas. Okay, she answered that. He does well in all emotionally.
Oh, that's a wrong question.
You're a man, so you answer this question.
Honestly.
Emotionally, he goes back and forth from, I love you, I want to be with you, I'm mad because you won't be with me, you won't commit to me, and then his insecurities get the best of him, and it's like, I want you, but I'm not sure if I deserve you, I'm not sure that I can facilitate you, I'm not sure that I can be with you. So when I say emotionally instability, it's like him wanting to be with me is concrete. That's not unstable. His emotions in the relationship are just unstable, to where as a man, you gotta get vertical within yourself before you can be in a relationship. And like,
this doesn't make any sense. He wants to be with you. He's standing 10 toes down that he wants to be with you. You're the one that's playing the game. You're the one that's teeter-tottering on the line for whatever reason, right? I'm not saying your reason is right, wrong, or indifferent, but you're the one that's teeter-tottering on the line, and then you're turning it around to make it seem like it's his emotional instability. But it's starting to sound like his emotional instability is caused by you coming and giving him the idea that the two of you are going to be together, and then turning around and still moving like you're single, knowing where he stands.
Yeah. Listen, but let me say this. Let me say this, Paul. He has every right to feel like what I've been doing as far as being in a relationship with him when I want to is not something that gives him stability.
100%. So if you're saying that at this point, and it's weird, because I don't know, I feel like Paul is like putting her in this position that, we're challenging her in a way and calling her bluff on things that is causing her to have to be honest about what's really going on, because he's not going for the gusto. It doesn't matter what words you use. It doesn't matter your vocabulary. He's not going for it. He's calling your bluff, and like I said, it's calling her out in this space. And so, if you're knowing that you are causing his emotional instability, then bringing up his emotional instability in this conversation to prove as to why you're not wanting to be with him is invalid.
However, I don't want to commit to a relationship with a man who I feel emotionally is not in a place of being able to be in a healthy relationship.
So why are you playing mental games?
I'm not playing mental games with him. It's not mental games. It's all transparency.
Why is there still sex involved?
How do you know he's sexy? We could just be having a
because I'm from movies.
He just said that the D is not a problem. She has no problem in that department.
vitamin D deficient. So everything is good in that department.
So to turn it around and pretend that that's not what the situation is, and you guys are just platonic, but you literally just said that the D is good and you don't have a problem in that department. You're kind of dancing around a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, you're dancing around a little bit in the conversation, and he's calling you on it 100%. Oh,
you could not be doing it. So let me say this: it is transparent. He understands. I understand. I understand what he wants. He understands why I don't want to commit at this moment with him, which is the emotional piece that him and I talk about openly. I support him in it. I don't space for him in it because we talk about it intensively, and he understands it. And he's that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Oh, shit. Well, you know what? If that's what I'm doing, I'll say this, and people will be mad. Okay, if I'm doing what Paul said, I'd much rather be the one walking you at the dog park than the one on the leash. If that's true.
So this is exposing her being in her masculine energy, which is very important. Okay, it's very important for the women who are taking the advice. It's very important for the women who are listening to the things that she's saying about relationships and relationship dynamics. And the reason why is because if you're a feminine woman, if you're a soft woman, and you want to get into a relationship where you have a leader, where you have protection, and you are not the leader, and you are not the protection, then you are going to have to listen and understand the power dynamics that are not going to work. Because she's having fun, she's doing her thing because she has somebody who she can get intimacy from whenever she feels like. And like he said, she's walking him around on this leash, and she's running the show. She's the boss of that situation. Hence why maybe it's comfortable for her to go back to that and stay in that, because he's allowing that space. And at the same time, she's saying out of one breath that before that she wants to be married and she wants to be whatever the case is. She's giving people relationship advice and marriage advice, but you over here walking by like a dog. Playing yo-yo with them. Playing games. You're doing to the man what you see men are doing to women. And again, ironically, how she rose to the topic of conversation was in this space is based off of her checking Cam Newton for that same said behavior.
Those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. So at what point do you feel the fear? Do it anyways. And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior. I'm gonna wait till I dissipate my fear to find a wife where I'm still going to be fearful with, because there's no such thing as not having some type of nerve or some type of feeling behind marrying somebody.
The only difference with that situation was that there was children involved. Okay, that's the only difference.
So that means, to my point, at 42, I'm not opt out. We are not opt out. Okay, we have options, and we are not on the leash. We can actually be more potent. It's all about your standards. It's all about you understanding who you are, and you standing in and on your square, and you doubling down on that. Period. There's men out there who will show up in any capacity we want. We don't have to settle. And we don't have to settle at a certain time. We can do what we want. Because I tell you one thing I'm not doing. I ain't doing time, but I ain't spending a whole lot of time with who I want, when I want, and both are enjoying it, getting what we want.
Okay, you just taking too long. Okay. Some decisions around here.
I think that what's interesting about this situation is that he genuinely called her out on it, and it forced her to have to be honest. She then, spun it around and like, ladies, we can be the leash holders and stuff like that. I don't think that's good advice. Like, I don't think that there's anything positive about that, And I like that he pushed her in this space and forced, like I said, her to really talk the situation what it is. Not make it sound pretty, not make it sound philosophical and nice, but to be honest about, where she is in the situation and how contrary her is in the way that she's moving is to the advice that she's giving and providing for other people. So, I don't know. I'd like to know what you guys think about this, about the entire conversation in the comment section and down below. What are your thoughts on this situation? Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you. River TV.
I noticed that I had a hot temper until I got with Jeezy. I was triggering him. Unless I want to stay in this place where I lose this person I love, what if I got rid of that?
So recently I did a reaction video to the interview that Jeezy posted on his channel, where he was interviewed in a sense by Nia Long, and this is in light of his album or his book. He has decided to kind of dig a little bit deeper and kind of tell people a lot about his story. He started all the way from his childhood, right? From his foundation, why he is the way he is, some of the trauma that he's experienced, what made him into the man that he is today. And he also very briefly touched on his relationship, or the demise of his relationship, his marriage with Jeannie Mai. Now, of course there's always going to be, in any conversation like that, people who are going to disagree or share their side of the story that, they feel like they side with him, they side with Jeannie, they side with, just the balance of truth. And, on social media, I just saw a floodgate of women who were so angry.
Domino's Best Deal Ever is back. Any hand-tossed, pan, thin crust, or New York-style pizza with 80 toppings for just $9.99 online. Last time you got
Sausage, bacon, chicken, spinach, beef, buffalo sauce.
What are you gonna get this time? Get Domino's $9.99 Best Deal Ever before it's gone.
Okay, they were furious that not only that Jeezy was sitting there having this conversation, but they were extremely upset that he decided to have this conversation with a black woman. Which was very mind-boggling to me, because it just shows that we are in a state that a lot of the women within our community have a hard time being pleased. Okay, it's like you might as well do whatever it is that you want to do as a man, because if you are trying to do something to appease our women, it's very difficult to be able to do so. A lot of women were so extremely upset that he, when he married her, people were kind of silent, but then when the divorce hit the fan, people were like, oh, I knew it. That's what happens when you don't marry a black woman. Oh, I knew, I could see this coming. You see, that's what happens when you think they got your back and they don't really, oh, he thought she was this kind of woman. Now he really found out. And but then he decided to, we don't know if he took that criticism. We don't know if he was just coming from a certain place or whatever. He sat down with the black woman to have this conversation, and women were mad. Again, you can bring water from the moon to this woman. You can give her the moon, the stars, the sun, everything that she's asking for or requiring of you, and she's still going to have a problem with it.
I give you the sun.
I think that a lot of people get a little confused. There are some things that are for sure black issues, right? Absolutely. As a black woman, I know this. You guys know, of course. There are some things that we know are specific to us, to our traumas, to our hurt, to our pain. We have our own specific issues. But also, in the realms of relationships, especially here in the U.S., it is a broad, we're painting with a broad brush, because all of the women are acting under one accord that are here. Okay, I'm not saying every single one, but the majority. It's not like, what you could say, oh, well, that's only those kind of people issues, or that's only these kind of people issues. As you guys can see, even here on my channel, when I do reactions, there are people who look all type of different colors. And in the comment section, with men responding of their experiences, all their colors are different as well. And it just leads me to believe, again, that you just cannot be pleased. And you purposely are trying to find fault with situations, especially if there's a strong possibility that the mirror is going to be pointed back at you, and you have to, internalize or listen to any of the criticism or any of the things that he is talking about. If any of the things that he was complaining about ring true for you, and you are somebody who is operating in that mindset or in that state of mind, of course you're going to have a problem with it. Of course you're going to pick it apart. Of course you're going to find difficulties. Because your deflection is your way of saying, I'm immune from this, I don't have to do the work because I'm picking a problem instead of listening to understand, to comprehend, to grow. In my comment section, I decided to pull out a couple of comments that I wanted to address. I know that there was a lot of people in my comment section who wanted me to further the conversation in regards to that interview, so we're going to go ahead and do that as well. And I also wanted to play a snip of something that Jeannie Mai said in the beginning of her marriage with Jeezy, or her relationship with Jeezy. I'm not sure if they were married at the time. I believe they might have been. I'm not 100% sure. And I wanted us to bring it back, because in all of this conversation back and forth, we have to listen to the people who were involved in this relationship. That's the whole point. Like, we need to be listening to what the two people who were involved in this relationship are saying, as well as what they're not saying. There's a lot of people who are just living their everyday lives, a lot of people who are in their own relationships, own marriages, that can learn and grow from these things. And I know a lot of people would say, well, if they don't want to hear, if they don't want to listen, if they don't want to, but there's people out there who are. I say it all the time. You guys will even see here in this comment thread, there's so many women who message me and say, man, I didn't like the message, I didn't like this, I thought all of these things, but then when I sit down and I actually listen to comprehend what you're saying, it's helping me, and I'm seeing different results.
Same old phone? Nah. Upgrade to the new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Airheads have more fun.
So let me get into this first comment, okay? The first comment, we just ripping a band-aid off. It says, Jeezy is a liar and an opportunist. He used Jeannie for clout. Jeannie is very transparent, and I can't wait until she starts talking. She's going to tell it all. This is how I know that a lot of women love, confusion. They love the messiness, the confusion. They want to be able to go tit for tat. They just want so bad to be on the side of the woman. Regardless of if she told you herself that she has her own faults, and he is sitting here saying that she has certain faults. And I want this to be very clear. This is not saying that there's not two parts to play in this situation. We all know that. Two people got married. Two people took responsibility. There's two people that this falls on the arms of. However, women only want to remember that there's two parts to play when they're in the wrong, or when their sister from the sisterhood is in the wrong. Because the sisterhood is not only black women. Y'all got you got the feminist sisterhood. You got the black women sisterhood. We got a lot of sisterhoods going on. Or, women supporting women regardless of. If a woman does anything wrong to a man, you will never hear those women saying, oh, you know, that's messed up because, you know, I bet he didn't deserve this, or that's not even fair. I can't believe she treated him this way. Oh, this is horrible. Oh, this is distasteful. You know what you will hear women saying? Oh, well, somehow, some way, it's his fault because she's a good woman. He messed up. He the one. Somehow we got to find a way to blame the man. Whenever it is putting the pressure on a woman and saying, no, sis, you got to do better. No, sis, it's you. No, you ruined it. No, you got to check yourself. No, use this as an opportunity to grow and evolve.
No.
Oh, you don't like women. Like, if that was true, I would not be here spewing knowledge or having these conversations to assist you in the growth in your own relationships. I would just sit down and twiddle my thumbs and know what I know and keep it pushing. I think it's so mind-boggling that, you know, somebody, they can go to the length. This is how you know, like, women are some women can be so delusional that they will go to these lengths when they're upset to just say anything. Like, to literally say that this was a clout move, that he's using this woman for clout, when the majority of us, you know, in society know who he is or knew who he is way before we knew who she was, is ridiculous. Okay? That's a stretch. That's definitely a stretch. Let's move on to the next one. If you can't tell, that first comment was from a woman. This comment is also from a woman. It says, dude, which that's Jeezy, dude can have all his feelings and vulnerability. It's great, but having his wife learn about divorce on the internet is whack. Using Nia to pull on black women's heartstrings is also very strategic and whack. This is, you know, not only is it mind-boggling, but it's also extremely distasteful that, you see, as women, when a man is being vulnerable, and when he's opening up and when he's sharing things that he's never shared before, and, you know, it wasn't just, I strongly, this is my opinion, I strongly believe that it was not just to talk about his relationship or anything like that. I think it is also creating a safe space where men can understand that you don't have to bottle all that hurt up, right? You don't have to hold on to it. You know, so many of our boys that are growing up, they're told, you got to be strong, you got to be a man, you can't cry, you can't have your emotions, you know, you can't do this, you can't express yourself, you can't, you know, and they're not taught, you know, how to be emotionally vulnerable and feel safe enough doing so. And then you have the same women that grow the boys, end up getting into a relationship with a man, and when he's vulnerable, oh, you could quit all that crying and stuff, you could have all of that, oh, all your feelings and your emotions, you could keep that. We don't want to hear that. What we want to talk about is what you did on the internet that we don't know the full story of. That's why they don't talk.
You probably know Vistaprint for business cards, but did you know we print everything you need to brand your business? We print banners and signs that help you stand out, and must-have merch like tote bags, t-shirts, and hoodies. Right now, new customers can get 20% off with code NEW20, because if you need it, we print it at Vistaprint.com.
Oh, you know, my man don't talk to me. I don't understand. You know, I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why he don't communicate with me. This is why. Because they know at the end of the day, you're going to either disregard it, you're going to ball it up and throw it in his face, you're going to use it against him, you're going to weaponize the tools that he's given you. This is why. To the level of conversation that Jeannie had, again, I don't know if the clip that I'm going to show is from the beginning of their marriage or when they first got together. I think she was pregnant at the time. They might have been married. I'm not 100% sure. But the depths that she went within that conversation lets me know that this was not a shock or a surprise. There's no way. Most of the time, majority of the time, when a man is fed up to the point of actually leaving a woman, if he leaves, because most men don't leave, there's a lot of communication all up in and through it. In the beginning, when the problems first start, you know, men are very people say that women say that they don't communicate. Oh, they're not big communicators. I disagree. I think their logic leads them to communicate even if you don't want to hear it at the time. But women, we have this thing within us that, you know, whenever we're emotionally who used the word? Oh, Tyree's ex. You know, she was emotionally intoxicated, and so in that emotional intoxication, you know, they be making up new words. In the emotional intoxication, it becomes this thing where, you know, when somebody's communicating with you, you take what they're saying lightly because of how you feel at the moment. So a woman and a man can get into an argument, and a man can say, listen, if you don't stop disrespecting me, this relationship is going to be over. Oh yeah, whatever. You could leave if you want to. And then, you know, a month or 2 months down the line, when she disrespects him again, she already forgot about it. She thought he just said that because of the heat of the moment. She thought he said it, but he didn't mean it, but he did. And then more disrespect piles on, more disrespect piles on, more disrespect piles on. But he said what he said. And again, I don't need to touch on the whole Nia Long thing to pull on heartstrings or whatever. You know, I'm not, I can't. Let's just move on to the next one. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one says, he needs therapy and a woman is not your therapist. Heal first before setting yourself up for failure. An unhealthy, unhealed man is a recipe for failure, whether you are a man or woman. A woman wrote this comment as well, as we can. I think we can kind of feel, right? Like we can kind of feel that a woman wrote this. And, you know, what I think is very interesting is that you're commenting he needs therapy and a woman is not your therapist, when literally in the interview, he talked about him going to therapy. He talked about him having a therapist. He also talked about the fact that he took, you know, his wife and him both went to therapy together. Why is it that we as women have a hard time comprehending that it is a strong possibility that the woman could be the problem in certain relationships? The woman could be the space that made the bottom fall out in certain relationships. Why do we have a hard time comprehending that? Why do we think that we have to point? The pointing is what leaves you guys alone. The pointing is what ruins your relationships. The pointing is what keeps you from evolving and growing. But y'all don't want to hear that though. All you want to hear is, yes sis, you're right. Oh yes sis. Oh, you know, you're the one, you're the prize, you're the this, you're the that. You know, no matter what you do, we can blame somebody else for it. We can absolve you of all accountability. Because even if you're accountable, you can still point the finger at somebody else and blame somebody else for something. Because it couldn't possibly be you, because every woman has a story. And men don't. Men don't endure anything.
Are you looking at 4x4s on cars.com again?
I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
I was thinking of something more sophisticated. Huh. Fine. Keep the beard.
Cars.com. Where to next?
It can even be the most extreme situations, like extremely extreme, where a woman will, you know, do some vile things to a man. And people will say, well, no woman just wake up like that and just do stuff like that. He had to have. And if it's in reverse, and if a man does something to a woman that's extremely vile, and we see it on the news, you would say, oh, see, these men are crazy. We got to protect ourselves. Think about the separation. Think about that. Next comment says, oh, these are all women, by the way. Next comment says, Jeannie is an extremely nurturing woman. However, she's also taking care of her family. That's where her hustle comes from, which I'm sure, I think she meant to say he, which I'm sure he loved that about her. That's her culture, so she couldn't just go against that. What about all her expectations of raising the baby, running businesses, taking care of her family, etc.? She didn't ruin Ish. They're both responsible. His pain is something he should have handled and took care of before he got married. He knew her circumstances and who she was and her culture. He still chose to gas her with trips with her family and friends. That was part of his delivery to get her respect and respect from the family. She said she didn't want kids or marriage. He went for it anyways after she told him what she didn't want. Two sides are responsible. Again, okay, let's take a step back, right? Let's take a step back. Where your hustle comes from, you know, how you take care of your family, your culture, all of these things, running businesses, boss chick mentality, all of these things does not make you a perfect human being. It doesn't. Just because you know how to run a business, just because you know how to provide for your family financially, just because you know how to cut the check, just because you're ambitious does not mean that makes you a great woman in all aspects. It means it makes you ambitious. It makes you somebody who knows how to provide for the family. It makes you somebody, you know, who knows how to write the checks. That's what it means. It means just that. Why are we in a space that we don't believe that you can be flawed in other aspects? And the only way to see those flaws within yourself is in our intimate relationships. That's why so many boss chicks
don't have it,
that write the checks, that run businesses, that are so ambitious, can't keep a man. Because they believe that because of all of their accomplishments and all of their degrees on the wall, all of the things that they have obtained makes them higher than their counterpart, makes them smarter than them, makes them better, makes them more intelligent, makes them more qualified to be the leader of the household, even if that's not their role. Think about that. Saying this part where this person in the comments says he married her, he knew her circumstances, he knew what she was and what she wasn't with. You know, if he didn't want to be with her, you know, he should have thought about that before she married him. So was he in a relationship with himself? This part that said, what does it say here? He chose to gain respect from her family and friends from trips. You know, she didn't want kids or marriage. Did he force her? And if I understand correctly, she did not want kids with her previous husband. She may not have wanted marriage after she left her previous husband. From what I recall, after she met Jeezy, all of these things changed. She wanted the family, the husband, she wanted it all. But let's say you're right. Okay, let's say, you know, he was supposed to go through all this. He should have, you know, been responsible with his pain. He should have handled and took care of that before he got married. Was she not dating him as well? She also was going on this venture. If she did not want to marry him, couldn't she have said no? We all know women control who's born in this world. If she did not want kids, couldn't she have controlled that? We have to critical think. We have to use our thinking skills. Let's move on to, oh yes, I'm glad that we got to the video portion. Let me go ahead and pull up this video. And I want you guys to hear this. Again, This is either from the beginning of their relationship. I know that she was pregnant at this time, so I don't know if it was the beginning of their relationship, if they were already married before they got, before they had a child. I'm not 100% of the dynamics, but this is well before any talks of any divorce had ensued.
I didn't notice that I had a hot temper until I got with Jeezy, and here's a person who is my equal and I really respect. And when I would spew some of my old habits, and he was like, like, that's not flying here. And also, it would trigger him to come back at me with things where I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? But I was triggering him. So through work, we learned that we both have certain habits that to the everyday person, from friends, family, fans, they'll never see it. Mm-hmm. But to the person who loves us deep enough, you can press that button and boom, the dragon comes out. Unless I want to stay in this place where I lose this person I love and I stay in my comfort zone of doing what I want to do and function the way I have for the last 40 years when nobody else had to stop me. But this was something greater that I wanted, and also a great challenge to myself to say, what if, now that I know it exists and the dragon's there, what if I got rid of that? How do I kill that dragon or store it in its place so that it never creates havoc in my life? I don't want somebody who doesn't change. I want you to change and grow, if it means growing into an even better version of what I fell in love with.
Y'all heard that?
Hey! Come on!
Airheads have more fun. I've been all over this world. I ain't ever seen no magic like this.
Did you hear it? Because, I could have just played the audio, but I think that you needed to visually see this person talking about this situation. This does not mean that there was not other problems that they had in their relationship, of course. This does not mean that, she's the only person to blame or the only person that's at fault, or, it does not mean that. Again, they both got into a relationship. They both made a decision. I'm sure they both had things that they could have worked on. But that's what marriage is. Two people working on things to grow together. It's always going to be like that. It's always going to be somebody bringing their stuff, the other person bringing their stuff, and you guys figure out how to make it work together. That's what marriage is. It's not two perfect people getting together and being more perfect. That's where the delusion comes from. That's why there's so much divorce, because you think that it's two perfect people coming together and just expanding on the perfection, and that's not reality. It's two imperfect people getting together, building, growing, working to become the best versions of themselves. This person being a mirror and showing you your innermost faults that you can work on and grow, and vice versa. In the interview that Jeezy did, he clearly said they reached a peak where she was no longer willing to work on these aspects, while he was. They went to therapy and it still was not working. You hear it from her mouth. She said, unless I want to lose my man, I gotta check myself. Unless I want to ruin my marriage, I gotta check myself. Unless I want to, chuck the deuce and be here by myself, I gotta check myself. And somehow women are still hearing, oh, well, it had to be him. She literally said he was coming back. Listen, I'm trying to break this down so you guys can really understand.
They don't listen.
For real.
They ain't gonna listen.
Because I don't want it to go over your head. Because I want it to penetrate. So you can really understand the magnitude of this situation and why I'm covering it. So many everyday people go through things in their relationships and can learn from this. This is one of the main reasons why relationships do not work out. A lot of women don't know how to tame their tongue. A lot of women don't know how to effectively communicate when they're upset. A lot of women don't know how to respectfully disagree. And there can be a lot of things that end up, causing the demise of the relationship, but at its core, when we look at the origination of where the problems in the relationship are stemming from, we can almost always bet our money on the respect portion. She said, I was triggering him. And once I started to trigger him, we heard him talk about it in his interview with Neil Long, where he said his mother was, she didn't love him. She didn't treat him with respect. He had went through a lot as a child. He had no voice. He witnessed so many different things. He had a hurt inside. And where did that hurt come from? The first woman who was supposed to love him. So she would disrespect him and trigger him. And in his trigger, he would respond in a certain manner that was not conducive to the positive space of their relationship. But what started that? Her triggering him. She said, let me tame this dragon so that it does not come up and cause any more issues in my life. That was the biggest problem. Because instead of taming the dragon, you should have eliminated the dragon. Ooh. A lot of women, they don't eliminate the problems that they have in their relationship, tame it for a little bit. For as long as they feel like they can. Because it's comfortable for them. They're used to it. It's normal to hold on to their traumas. They don't like how uncomfortable they feel of becoming a brand new person. They hold on to it. The problem is that when you don't eliminate it and you still hold on to it, it shows its head again. Because whenever you get to a space that you're comfortable or you're in a common situation, that's a normal response that comes out of you, so it's gonna come back out. Unless it's eliminated. And elimination is not impossible. Only if you think it is. Listen. Women lose their husbands every day. Okay? And I don't mean that he's out the house. I mean emotionally. The connection is gone. He don't look at you the same. Why don't you compliment me? Why don't you walk past? You don't call me beautiful. You don't tell me you love me. You don't do these things because you don't respect me. When I see you, all I see is the word disrespect on your forehead. That beauty that I once saw is faded. The connection we once had is lost. Because when I see you, I just see stress and disrespect. I can go to the grocery store or the bank and get more respect from a woman I don't know than the woman that's in my household. And you don't know how detrimental that is to a man. Until something like this happens and he possibly leaves you. This comment said his wife displayed traits of his mother, which triggered him. I would imagine writing that book made him feel vulnerable, and his wife just poured salt in his wound. I pray they both receive healing. I do too. I really, really pray that, they both receive healing and that she grows from this. Because you have two spaces. You can either grow from this or revert back to your ways and say, see, that's why these men ain't this and these men ain't that, and then just keep yourself in delusion, keep lying to yourself, keep numbing yourself, keep, absolving yourself of accountability and just be stuck in your ways and just stay on the hamster wheel. Or you can grow and achieve positive results from your growth. Next one said Jeezy and Jeannie trauma bonded. Both have dark pasts with their mothers growing up. That is not a successful formula for a long marriage, and their traumas will tend to rear their ugly head. Jeannie admitted to having anger issues like her mom. I know Jeezy didn't marry a non-black woman only to deal with the same BS he got from his mother. This is another thing that I think is very interesting too. I definitely agree that people can trauma bond and not know. right? And what I mean by that is that they have this connection with each other, where they have this feeling of similarity. But I think it also goes to show, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I think it also goes to show that you can resonate and you can have a certain level of understanding with each other, but then still at that same time, you say like, oh, I understand him because his mom treated him like this and my mom treated me like this. But then when you turn around and you treat him in that same manner that you said that you understand, it makes it worse. Because it's almost like it's better if he got with somebody who didn't understand that same exact way of thinking, that treated him that way because she could not comprehend, than you who comprehend and you're still using those weapons. Again, I don't want to get into it, but it says, I don't believe that Jeezy married a non-black woman only to deal with the same BS that he got from his mother. I don't believe that he believed that she was anything other than what she portrayed herself to be, her representative. And that's not only a black woman thing or an Asian thing or this thing. There's a lot of women who show their representative. They show their best version of themselves. Oh, I can cook and clean. Oh, I'm not mad. If you want to hang out with the boys, I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to call you. You do your thing. I'm cool like the guys. I'm a girl that I can relate to, and you don't have to worry about nothing. There's so many women who present themselves to be that way. Then once they get married, all of a sudden, the quote-unquote, as she used, the dragon comes out, and they're like, who is this? I've never been married before. I only married you because you proved yourself to be different, and now you're not. That means that I married a facade. I was bamboozled, hoodwinked. I was tricked. So we'll go back to the next comment. This comment says, when a woman has emotionally detached from you and started emasculating you as a man, it's best that you leave. I'm not speaking about what I heard, I'm speaking about what I went through. Again, it's detrimental when a man can go anywhere else. He can walk past somebody in the grocery store and she smiles at him and he's like, man, that's the first time a woman smiled at me in months, and he lives at home with you.
Domino's Best Deal Ever is back. Get your dream pizza for just $9.99 online. Only at Domino's.
Them secretaries be at the job, showing their appreciation and their admiration for this man. And then you be confused. I'm not saying it's right, but then you be confused when he step out. Oh, well, I don't understand. You made vows. Okay, so did you. Isn't it to have and to hold and to cherish? Y'all thought it said tarnish. Y'all thought it said tarnish. You're like, oh, it said cherish? I didn't know that. Oh, I thought it said disrespectful, rude, talk to me anyhow. I thought it meant that this was a trap, that he can't get out. I can do anything I want to him, and he has to stay. And he got it then. Oh, I thought that's what it said. This person had this comment, which I've seen a lot of people put this comment in my comment section. It says, so why is he talking to me alone? And in my opinion, I believe that, again, this is just my opinion. He said that he explained in the interview why he chose to talk to her. But in my opinion, I thought that the reason why he chose her was because she also had a very public breakup. Right? So she had a situation with her fiance at the time that she was with for a very long time. And so I felt like he thought it was he wanted to give her the space to also speak on it because she hadn't spoken on it before. And he wanted to speak on his issues as well. So I feel like that might have been the reason why there was common dialogue between the two of them. It wasn't introduced that way. There wasn't anything that said that we're both going to be talking about our issues. When we watched the interview, you just turned it on and it just started happening. So I believe that it was just, an open space for both of them to communicate about their own relationship issues. That's my personal opinion based off of my observation. But a lot of people had opinions on the interview, how she dealt with it. I kind of gave my opinions in my reaction video, and so we're going to talk about that as well. this person said, I don't think him doing this interview with Nia Long was the right move. She is busy ignoring him, telling her life. It's giving, well, what about me, instead of listening. It would have been in his best interest to find a married couple, not one or the other, not for nothing, but Nia Long has not been very successful in that avenue. Next one says, he chose Nia Long because he likes her. He clearly said it on his latest album, quote, if I ever see Nia Long, I'm getting at her. That's why he chose Nia Long for the interview. Well, I don't know the quote, but okay. Next thing is that this person said, did anyone notice everything Jeezy said black men are going through? Nia Long had to chime in on black women are going through the exact same thing. No, we are very different, and so are our experiences. So our experiences are going to be different. Even if the situation is similar, I just didn't like hearing the tit for tat coming from Nia Long. And I think there was one more comment about. This one says Nia Long is conducting the interview, but she's making the whole thing about herself, and I find a lot of women do that when someone else, especially a man, has an issue. They would turn it around and make it all about themselves. That's what makes it hard to even talk to a woman. Even when you go to a funeral, women fall all out on the floor yelling and screaming until they literally make themselves sick, all for attention. Okay, now you play too much. Okay, now you play too much when they fall out making themselves sick for attention, but I know exactly what you're talking about. So here's my take on it. Again, I believe that it was a space for them to have dialogue between the two of them. Again, she went through a very public breakup. He went through a very public breakup. And I think he just wanted to sit down and have a community-based conversation. Again, if he sat down with a woman who was of another race, right? His wife was Asian. If he sat down with another Asian woman, black women would have had a problem with that. Why are you talking to another woman about our business? You know, I think that people forget that just because he married a woman who is not black does not make him not a black man. He's a black man talking about his black experience, about his black traumas, and he decided to have that conversation with a black woman. I did not see anything wrong with that. Now, as I did state before in my last portion, I don't know if they clipped up the interview, if maybe it wasn't, exactly how we saw it or whatever the case is. I'm not 100% sure, but I did feel the same way that it was tit for tat. And again, if there was a space that it was supposed to be both of them sharing their experiences, I think that there should have been something in place that we could have known that, so we're not leaving it to our own interpretation. But I did feel that. I did feel that it...
You probably know this is print for business cards, but did you know we print everything you need to get your brand in front of your fans? We print banners and signs that help your business stand out. We print postcards and flyers that get people talking. And we print must-have merch, like tote bags, t-shirts, and water bottles. Whether you want a few or a few thousand, we print on everything so that customers can go from noticing your brand to falling in love with it. Right now, new customers can get 20% off with code NEW20. Because if you need it, we print it at vistaprint.com.
Like, well, he was expressing himself and saying that black men go through a lot outside and we don't want to come back home and deal with this. I do feel that for that specific part of the interview where she said we're going through a lot too, I think that there was a mark that was missed, because she said that black women are also going through a lot outside, but his point, when he made that point, was not about what he's facing outside. It's about the fact that he doesn't want to face it when he comes home. That was the weight of the conversation, and I feel like a couple of times that happened where what he was saying was missed because it was like, well, we are as well, when it's like, but he's the one experiencing it. We don't, it's rare that we hear women come home and talk about the fact that, their man is always yelling at them or nagging or telling them that they ain't good at this and they ain't good at that, they can't do this, they're not good enough, you should have done this, you should have done that. It's rare that we hear women speaking about that. That's something that we always hear men complaining about. The nagging nature, the disrespect, the emasculation, we always hear that coming from the man's point of view. And so even if you face certain trials outside, even if they're not the same, the point is that coming home is supposed to be a safe place. It's supposed to be peaceful. It's supposed to be loving and nurturing. And I think from his masculine man point of view, he was stating, I don't want to fight the world and come home and fight my wife. You know, I don't want to be playing jump rope scene. Oh, should I come inside? I don't know if I can come inside. Should I? I don't know what it's going to be. Let me stay at work longer. As a matter, let me just stay in my car. Instead of coming straight home, let me take a long way. Okay? I know I'll live 5 minutes, but tonight it's going to take me 30 minutes to get home because I had a hard day at work and I don't know what she's coming with today. Because yesterday I came in, all I did was sit on the couch and we got into a whole, you know, big argument over the trash from last week. Like, I can't deal. And I think that was his point of view, and I completely understand that. And I do believe that men need that space to be able to even communicate their problems even within the relationship. If a lot of women allowed that space where their men could communicate without them being defensive, without them putting themselves in it, talking about, well, me too, well, I go through this too, they would see very different results in their relationship. They would.
That's all they do. Me too. That's where the Me Too movement came from.
Come on, Nia. Women don't know what they want. You said it. If they are leading me to where I don't want to go, well, even if a man is leading where you want to go, it will change next time. This is referring to the part in the interview where Nia Long was saying, you know, Jeezy asked Nia Long, do women want to be led? Because Nia Long was saying that women want to be led, and he said, well, do they? Like, because basically that's not how they don't portray that they want to be led. They say that, but when a man is actually there to lead them, you know, they're met with discourse. And she's saying, well, you know, if I don't want to go in the way that in which you're leading me, then that's when I'm going to have a problem where you're going to receive conflict. I made a point even in my last video that I said, I'm going to know your leadership skills before we're even in a relationship. Because I'm not going to already be up under your leadership and then combating you. That don't make no sense. Because that trust comes from, I trust you to lead me everywhere. I could blindly let you lead me. I could close my eyes.
Ooh. Baby, baby. Ooh. Baby. What's going on? Trying to get yeah. Yeah, I live here. Yeah. I'll be riding down to Danville the other night. That's why I got
Alright, we'll get you wrapped up here quick. Yeah, I got it in dry, right? Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna find out. Oh, it's alright. I gotta move it either way, so it don't matter. Damn, this power steering is gone. Yo. Yeah. All right. That makes sense. All right. All right. Oh, damn. Hey, one more little one. Yeah. Where the fuck is the window? Oh, shit. Alright. Power steering gone. Alright. Power steering is non-existent. Okay. Engine light's on too. He comes here all the time.
Roll down the window.
Yeah, okay. So, I need to get. I ain't put them in yet. Hey, my bad. Two 246. I ain't even lying though. That little laptop is pretty quick. It just don't print. Have you used it yet, Charlie? Either to the swing. I could do it. I could take that bitch with me out there, maybe. That would be awesome.
Y'all put new ink in that sucker?
I think I usually take the full and barely break it loose and then in there. I mean, the car, yeah, barely break it loose. Oh, here, you want to take some Wait till you drive this thing out, but you gotta take out the stereo.
Ah. Yes. Yep. I don't know why I was thinking start it for some reason. Just checked it too. Damn. I like it. Yeah, it's about what it's coming to.
I would have at least identified it as like an Alpine or something.
Yeah.
Roll way 2.
Thank you. Hey, the airbag light and check engine light.
got to take that bitch out. Let the music play. Get away. Tight, it's like you should get this light. It's China white. Got these niggas killing each other tonight. Nigga, why? That's the guys he's like. Oh my god, it's amazing. cafeteria.